Welcome to another edition of INN CEO Talks. Joining me today is Kerem Usenmez, the president and CEO of Metallum Resources, which trades on the TSX Venture under the symbol MZN. Metallum Resources is a zinc and copper-focused base metal resource company run by a Canadian-based management team with extensive experience in the acquisition, exploration, and development of resource properties. On September 15th, 2021, the company announced the results of its feasibility study for the high-grade superior zinc and copper polymetallic project near the town of Schreiber, which is just east of Thunder Bay in Ontario. The project is near production with all infrastructure in place. And the results confirm an 8.5 mine year life with an average of $44.5 million annually. Joining me now is Kerem Usenmez. Kerem, welcome. Can we start by you just giving us a quick little overview about yourself, your team, and of course the project?
Yes, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm a geological engineer. I worked in similar deposits around the world, mainly in Canada, across Canada actually, in northern Manitoba, eastern Canada, some international. I'm licensed in Ontario and Manitoba. But we also have Simon Ridgway, who founded the company and was the paramount on this deal. He's been very successful on discovering deposits and developing mines around the world. One biggest one was the Fortuna Silver. And we also have on our advisory board Mark Cruz, who built Trevally, as most of our viewers might know. And we have Jim Pical on our geology advisory, who was paramount on Flin discovery as well.
So let's talk about the project. And I know that you've had a pretty active and successful last 6 months. Can you bring us up to speed?
Yes, absolutely. It's been a very busy year. A couple of key things. We completed the acquisition of the Superior project from Inferred Resources, an Australian company. And we started to be trading. We started trading in with under the new symbol MZN on TSX Venture. And we published a 43-101 resource early in the year, at the end of January. Our technical focus has been updating the JORC compliant feasibility study that was done in 2019 convert that into 43-101 43-101 feasibility study with updated numbers, the CAPEX, OPEX mainly, really, and reviewed some of the aspects of it as well. And we also started an exploration program to go after the already identified targets late April. So that is underway. But to take away from that is there's 2 million tons at 18% zinc, which is extremely high grade for zinc, and 1% copper in average. And it's open for expansion. The feasibility study basically outlines how we are going to mine and process this with up-to-date CAPEX and OPEX numbers that were published this week. And it basically sets the framework for future steps, how to do things, basically. In tandem with that, we kicked off the exploration program, which remains open for expansion. And certainly we feel like there is more high-grade zinc and copper to be found on the property. So we're also looking at other projects, evaluating them as we go. So lots going on, very busy times, and lots of good news flow until the year end.
So let's talk about what the market is for zinc, because a lot of people, we all know about copper and of course its role in the electrification of everything, but not everybody is as familiar with the need for zinc. What's that market looking like right now?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I agree that zinc doesn't get this spotlight, that it's a little bit shadowed from copper. But zinc is historically and mainly used in galvanizing and strengthening the steel. That's still probably the majority of it. It has nutritional value. It's starting to catch up. But what is interesting is lately happening in the green economy, per se, is that zinc has the higher capacity to store energy at a very, very low cost. That's really, really getting traction. really it's becoming more and more common, as well as there's zinc air batteries. That's also getting traction at a very cheap cost and lasting longer as well. And it's not toxic. Transporting those batteries, it's environmentally friendly in that sense, and it's very, very cost effective. So that's also getting traction. On top of that, what we expect in the short and midterm is the stimulus packages globally that the governments are introducing. So that goes right into infrastructure, means zinc need.
So talk to me a little bit about how your stock has been performing since you began trading.
So that's very interesting because initially it went up really well, I would say, but then it's been quiet. We don't get the trading. One of the reasons for that is that we did this acquisition on a share-based model. What means is that it's the shares are on escrow. So roughly about 66%, 67% of our company is owned by Superior Lake Resources. They don't have any board or board seat or any management say, they're just shareholders, but the shares are in escrow. So 195 million shares, most of them are in escrow. The rest, I think they're waiting for good news to go. So we don't get the trading. And the stock is like most juniors say, it's not as performing as good as we hoped and at this moment. So it's cheap, it's a good time to buy.
Well, yeah, because also, I want to come back to a little bit of my discussion about where does zinc fit into the overall equation as far as, as a metal that is in demand. And it appears to be in demand, and I don't know that it's been in higher demand ever. And so, as you say, your stock's a little bit depressed, and it's a good opportunity. What does the zinc market look like, and how do you think that's going to be reflected as far as, Metallum is concerned?
Yeah, I would say whatever you look at in the last year or so, even last couple of months, it's been going up. It's been going up since April when we started trading, really. Our feasibility study was done really based on 1.22 US dollars per pound. Today, it's 1.41. Yesterday, 1.40. It's going up. I think it's still going to be in deficit. We expect it to be at least 10 to 20% more in the new year, as most of the analysts predict as well. So I think it is good time for zinc. Like I mentioned before, it doesn't get the spotlight that copper gets.
Right.
But that means also opportunities.
Right. I'd also like to just talk a little bit about the project itself, where you're at. Of course, you're still in exploration, but what are your long-term plans? Can you envision this as an operating mine? And based on where you're at, you're in that very infrastructure-rich region of the country where you can get product to market. But what are your long-term plans?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is an old producing mine with very, very profitable margins, really. So most of the infrastructure is already in place. The road right to the mine site, underground development about 16 kilometers right to the ore. There's a shaft, there's tailings dam, polishing ponds. All the CAPEX heavy infrastructure are already in place. So that gives us an advantage in two things. Low CAPEX numbers, as well as timeline. So our strategy is definitely develop the mine. But in the meantime, as we all know, those things need permits and might take longer. So we're looking at probably 1.5 to 2 years based on the feasibility study that was published. Within that amount of time, we can definitely do more exploration, and we believe there's more. So we can potentially increase the resources in the meantime. So those are the midterm catalysts that we're looking for. But it's shockingly underexplored. So, and there's all the indicators there. It's a VMS deposit to have more. So I hope that answers your question.
Well, absolutely it does. And, it sounds to me like you're sitting on a pretty good property there, and things are going to continue to unfold. So I hope you'll come back in the future and give us an update, because I think that as you are fully aware, Zinc's profile continues to increase, and there's going to be people who want to know where things are at in the future.
Absolutely. I would look forward to that.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you. And if anybody wants to hear more, our website is metallumzinc.com, and follow us on social media or reach out to me or Amber.
Good point. Thank you for including that. I had meant to ask you that earlier. How can viewers find out more? So thank you very much.